James Miller stood at the massive window of the Galactic Council station, watching the swirling colors of nearby nebulas paint the darkness of space. His reflection showed a man in his 40s, wearing the simple blue uniform of Earth's diplomatic corps. After 5 years of watching this war unfold, his face had grown older than his age, suggested the corridor behind him buzzed with activity as alien diplomats hurried to their next meeting. None of them paid attention to the human observer. That's all. They saw him as just another primitive species representative allowed to watch, but never to participate. Another colony lost, he muttered, reading the latest report on his data. The Crest Empire had destroyed 3 Federation worlds in the past month alone. Each attack grew bolder, each response from the Council weaker. A tall blue-skinned Council member walked past, deliberately avoiding eye contact. Miller had tried speaking with him last week about the rising civilian casualties. The alien had simply stated that humanity was too young to understand the complex nature of galactic politics. Miller turned away from the window and walked toward the observation gallery of the main council chamber. The room was enormous, with seats for thousands of representatives from across the galaxy. Earth section consisted of exactly 3 chairs tucked away in the far corner, the primitive species section as some called it. Taking his usual seat, Miller watched the council's emergency session begin. The Federation's representative, a tall figure with crystalline features, stood at the center platform. Behind them, holographic images showed the latest destruction. An entire world turned to bash by the Crest Empire's planet killer weapons. 3 million civilians. The Federation representative's voice cracked with emotion. 3 million refugees who sought shelter on our colony world. The Crest Empire gave no warning. They gave no chance for evacuation. Miller's hands gripped his armrests tightly. He had visited that colony 2 months ago. He remembered the children playing in the parks, the families trying to rebuild their lives now. They were gone, turned to dust by a government that saw them as nothing but targets. The Council's response was predictable. We will increase economic sanctions against the Crest EMP Empire, the head council member announced, and we will send a formal protest about their violation of war conventions. Miller wanted to scream sanctions, a formal protest. Millions were dead, and the council was sending stumbly worded letters. But he kept quiet, kept taking notes, kept playing the role of the passive observer. That's what they expected from humanity, to watch and learn from their betters. After the session, Miller walked back to his small office. The walls were covered with maps showing the war's progress. Red markers indicated fallen Federation worlds. Blue showed Crest Empire territory. The pattern was clear. The Empire was winning, and they were pushing closer to Earth's sector of space. His computer terminal blinked with a new message. It was from Tom Reynolds, one of Earth's intelligence officers stationed on the station. The message was short: need to meet maintenance level 3 urgent. Miller straightened his uniform and headed for the lifts. As he descended to the maintenance level, he thought about Earth's position in all this. The Council saw humans as primitives, veerly out of their stone age by galactic standards. They didn't know about the orbital shipyards hidden beneath holographic shields. They hadn't noticed the military technology Earth had reverse engineered from damaged alien ships. They'd been allowed to study. Most importantly, they didn't understand that humanity's primitive nature included something they had lost long ago: the absolute conviction that standing by while innocents died was not just wrong, but unthinkable. The lift doors opened to a dimly lit corridor. Miller could see Reynolds waiting in the shadows, holding a data chip that would change everything. Humanity had been watching long enough. It was time to show the galaxy that being young didn't mean being blind. Ed to right and wrong. Tom Reynolds led Miller through the dim maintenance corridor, checking twice to make sure they were alone. The intelligence officer's usually calm face showed clear signs of stress. He pulled out a small device and activated it, creating a field that would block any listening devices. You need to see this, Reynolds said, inserting the data chip into his pad. We intercepted communications from the Crest Empire's military command. His hand shook slightly as he brought up the files. Miller leaned in to look at the screen. His eyes widened as he saw the attack plans. These are coordinates for future targets, he said quietly. They're pushing towards Earth sector. Reynolds finished. 3 of their planned targets are just 2 jumps away from our colony worlds. The Council knows about this, James. They've known for weeks. Before Miller could respond, both their emergency communicators buzzed. Another Council session was being called the Crest Empire had launched a new attack in the council chamber. The atmosphere was different this time, even the most composed alien diplomats showed signs of shock. The central hologram displayed a scene of pure horror. The Crest Empire hadn't just bombed their latest target. They had tested a new weapon that turned the very air toxic. 6 million dead. In the first hour, the Federation representative reported their crystalline form dulled with grief. The survivors, they paused, struggling to continue. The survivors are asking for mercy. Killing the toxin is the effects. Our Miller watched the council members' reactions. Some showed genuine horror, others, he noticed, barely reacted at all. His trained diplomatic eye caught subtle signals, quick glances between certain representatives, small nods, silent messages. Past something wasn't right. After the session, Miller met Reynolds again, this time in a forgotten observation deck overlooking the station's docking base. Reynolds had more data to share. Look at these shipping records, Reynolds said, showing Miller another set of files. These council members, he pointed to several names. They've been selling weapons to both sides, advanced technology way beyond what they claim is available. Miller studied the records carefully. The same council members who keep voting against intervention. He said the PACE is falling into place. They are profiting from this war. It gets worse, Reynolds continued. Remember how they classified Earth as a primitive species 5 years ago? Look at the assessment team's original report. Miller read the document, his anger growing with each line. Earth's military technology had actually impressed the assessment team. They had recommended full membership status for humanity. But someone had changed the report, deliberately pushing Earth into the observer category. They wanted to keep us out of this, Miller said, his voice hard. They knew we wouldn't stay quiet if we had a real voice in the council. A group of Crest Empire diplomats walked past their observation point, their scale faces showing smug satisfaction. They were heading to a private meeting with some of the council members. Reynolds had identified the Federation is losing, Reynolds said quietly, without help. They'll fall within months, and then the Crest Empire will have a clear path to Earth sector. Miller stood up, his decision made. He had spent 5 years playing the quiet observer, the primitive human learning at the feet of advanced civilizations. He had watched as millions died while the council offered nothing but words. Get me everything you have, he told Reynolds, every record, every communication, every piece of evidence, and contact Earth. Tell them it's time for what? Reynolds asked, though his slight smile suggested he already knew. Time to show the galaxy that being young doesn't mean being stupid, Miller said. And being primitive doesn't mean being blind to corruption. Tomorrow I'm going to address the council, and I'm going to tell them that humanity is done watching. Miller spent the night in his office, reviewing everything Reynolds had uncovered. His desk was covered with data pads showing shipping records, bank transfers, and classified military reports. Each piece of evidence made his blood boil more. Through his office window, he could see the massive council station's rings spinning slowly against the starry background. For 5 years, he had admired its beauty. Now, he saw it differently, as a symbol of corruption. Failure. Computer, show me the weapons trading patterns again, he said, rubbing his tired eyes. The holographic display lit up, showing shipping routes crisscrossing the war zone. Ships, supposedly carrying medical supplies and food, were actually delivering advanced weapons to both sides. A soft knock at his door made him look up. Reynolds entered, carrying fresh evidence. You need to see this, he said, placing a new data pad on Miller's desk. We found something about Earth's assessment. The document showed a private meeting between council members from 5 years ago. Miller read it carefully, his face growing darker with each line. The council hadn't just changed Earth's assessment. They had been afraid of humanity. They saw our war records, Reynolds explained, Earth's military history. How quickly we advance during conflicts. How we adapt enemy weapons and tactics. He pointed to specific notes in the document. They were scared of what we might do if we joined the war. Miller stood up and walked to his window. So they labeled us primitive, kept us watching from the sidelines, all while they made profits from both sides, killing each other. His computer terminal beeped with an urgent message from Earth. The response to his earlier warning had arrived. Miller opened it, read quickly, and allowed himself a small smile. Earth's ready, he told Reynolds. The shipyards are active. Everything we've been building in secret, it's ready. Reynolds nodded. The council has no idea, do they, about our real military strength? No, Miller said. They think we have a few old ships barely able to reach our own solar system's edge. They don't know about the tech we've developed, the weapons we've created by studying their damaged ships. Another message flashed on his screen. More casualty reports from the latest Crest Empire attack. Miller opened the file and felt his resolve harden. The Empire wasn't just killing soldiers anymore, they were destroying entire civilizations. What about the Federation? Reynolds asked. Will they accept our help? Miller brought up another document, secret communications with Federation representatives. They are desperate. He said the Council's sanctions aren't stopping the Empire. The Federation is losing worlds every week. The station day cycle was beginning through his window. Miller could see diplomats and officials starting their daily routines. Among them were the corrupt Council members walking to their private meetings, probably planning their next weapons deals. We have enough evidence. Miller decided records of the weapons trading, proof of the Council's deliberate suppression of Earth's status, details of the Empire's plans to push toward our sector. He straightened his uniform. It's time. Reynolds looked concerned. They'll try to stop you from speaking. They'll say you don't have the right, that Earth is just an observer. Let them try, Miller said, gathering the key evidence onto one data pad. I'm done observing today. Humanity shows the galaxy what happens when you mistake patience for weakness. As the morning station announcements began, Miller prepared for the most important speech of his life. In Earth's hidden shipyards, warships were ready to launch. In the Federation's remaining worlds, hope was almost lost. And in the Council chamber, corrupt leaders were about to learn that they had made a terrible mistake. They had given humanity time to watch, to learn, and to prepare. Now it was time to act. The main Council chamber was packed. Representatives from hundreds of worlds filled the seats, their quiet conversations creating a low hum throughout the massive room. None of them noticed Miller standing near the central platform, waiting for his moment. The head Council member, a tall figure with gray skin, called the session to order. Today, we will discuss further sanctions against the Crest Empire's recent actions. He began in his usual boring tone. Miller took a deep breath and stepped forward. Point of order, he said loudly, his voice cutting through the chamber. Earth requests immediate speaking rights. The chamber went silent. The head Council member looked down at Miller with surprise and annoyance. Observer species do not have speaking rights during full sessions, he said dismissively. Please return to your designated area. Miller didn't move. Article 47 of the Council Charter, he said clearly, allows any species to speak when they have evidence of actions that threaten galactic peace. I invoked that right. The Council members exchanged worried looks. They had forgotten about that old rule before they could object. Miller activated his data pad. The chamber's main holographic display came alive with evidence. For 5 years, Earth has watched this war. Miller began. We've watched millions die. We've watched the Crest Empire destroy worlds. We've watched this Council do nothing but talk. He brought up the shipping records. These Council members, he pointed to specific names, have been selling weapons to both sides. The chamber erupted in shocked whispers. As the evidence appeared, they've made billions while claiming they want peace. Several Council members stood up trying to object, but Miller's voice grew stronger. You kept Earth as an observer because you were afraid of us, afraid of what we'd do if we saw what was really happening. Well, we saw everything. The Federation representative leaned forward, hope showing on their crystalline face. For the first time in months, the Crest Empire's diplomats were quickly sending messages on their devices, looking worried. You call humans primitive, Miller continued. You think we're too young to understand galactic politics, but we understand something. You've forgotten the difference between right and wrong. He displayed the Crest Empire's battle plans, showing their push toward Earth's sector. The Empire isn't going to stop. Your sanctions won't stop them. Your strongly worded messages won't stop them. But we will. The head Council member found his voice. You have no authority. Earth is joining the war, Miller announced. The chamber exploded into chaos. We're joining the Federation side right now. As if on cue, his data pad lit up with a message from Earth. Miller allowed himself a small smile as he read it. Our ships are already launching. Ships? You never knew we had technology. You thought we couldn't build. The Crest Empire's representatives were practically running from the chamber. They had just received reports of human warships appearing near their supply lines. You wanted us to watch and learn. Miller's voice cut through the noise. We learned that advanced technology doesn't equal wisdom. We learned that age doesn't guarantee morality. And we learned that sometimes the youngest species has to teach the oldest ones about courage. He turned to the Federation representative. Earth stands with you. Our ships are at your disposal. Together, we're going to end this war. The chamber had gone completely silent. In that silence, Miller delivered his final words: Earth is done being an observer. The galaxy needs to understand something. We humans have a saying: the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good people to do nothing. We're done doing nothing. As Miller stepped back from the platform, the Federation representatives stood and began to clap. Others joined in, first a few, then dozens, then hundreds. The corrupt council members could only watch as their carefully built system of profit and power began to crumble. The galaxy was about to learn what happened when humanity decided to act back on Earth. Admiral Robert Stone stood in the United Earth Defense Command Center, watching as hundreds of warships emerged from their hidden docks. The massive holographic display showed ships appearing all across Earth's solar system, their stealth fields dropping to reveal humanity's true military power. Status report. He ordered, his weathered face reflecting the blue light of the display. All ships reporting. Red Admiral, his second in command, reported the stealth fields around Mars shipyards are down. Jupiter Station is online. The moon base is launching all squadrons through the command center's massive windows. Stone could see the orbital rings around Earth shimmer and change. What had looked like simple trade stations and civilian habitats transformed as their holographic covers disappeared. Hidden weapon systems activated, and huge hangar doors opened to release more ships. Send the signal to all fleet commanders. Stone ordered. Operation Hidden Shield is now active across the solar system. Humanity's carefully prepared forces moved into position. For 5 years, they had built in secret, using technology reverse engineered from studying alien ships. But they had added something unique: human innovation. The Crest Empire spies on Earth were sending panic messages back to their leaders. They had thought Earth's biggest ships were small cargo vessels. Now they waste as massive warships, each nearly 2 km long. Moved into formation. Message from the Federation. An officer called out. They're sending coordinates of high-priority targets. Empire supply lines, weapons, factories, command centers. Stone nodded. Send our response. Tell them Earth's forces will be at the designated location within 6 hours. He allowed himself a small smile. Let's show them what our primitive jump drives can really do in space. The first wave of Earth ships entered jump points. Their engines, combining alien technology with human engineering, created jump fields larger and more stable than anything the galaxy had seen before. Ships that should have needed days to reach their targets would arrive in hours. The command center screen showed reactions from across the galaxy. The Crest Empire was scrambling their fleets, trying to protect their supply lines. The corrupt council members were desperately trying to hide evidence of their weapons trading, and the Federation worlds were celebrating as news of Earth's intervention spread. Admiral, his second in command, said quietly, the Crest Empire's ambassador is demanding to speak with Earth's leadership. He's threatening severe consequences if we don't stand down. Stone looked at the latest casual UOY reports from the Empire's attacks. Tell him Earth's leadership is busy. We're preparing our response to 5 years of watching genocide. More ships launched from Earth's hidden facilities. Each one carried weapons and defenses that combined the best of alien technology with human military thinking. The Empire would expect standard tactics, standard responses. They weren't ready for how humans fought wars. All fleets report ready. The command officer announced first wave is approaching their targets. Federation forces are moving to support positions. Stone touched a control panel, opening a channel to all Earth forces. This is Admiral Stone. To all ships for 5 years. We've watched, we've learned, we've prepared. The galaxy thinks they know what humanity is capable of today. We show them how wrong they are. He looked at the tactical display, showing thousands of Earthships moving into attack formation. We're not fighting for territory. We're not fighting for profit. We're fighting because it's right. The Empire thought they could kill millions and face no consequences. The Council thought they could grow rich from others' suffering. They were wrong. The first reports of combat were coming in. Earthships appearing from seemingly impossible jump points, striking Empire targets with shocking precision. The Empire's commanders were already falling into confusion, facing tactics. Their military doctrine had never considered. All ships commence Operation Hidden Shield. Stone ordered. Show them why humanity is done watching. The galaxy was about to learn that sometimes the most dangerous opponent isn't the one with the most advanced technology. It's the one with the strongest conviction. The Crest Empire's largest supply base never saw the attack coming. Human ship appeared from jump points directly inside their defense Perimeter, something their commanders had thought impossible. Before their sensors could even register the threat, Earth's vessels had already launched their first strikes. Admiral Stone watched the battle unfold from his command ship. The Earth Force Defender report on first wave impact. He ordered standing before the tactical display, direct hits on all primary targets. His tactical officer reported, and Empire ships are still trying to raise their shields. They didn't expect us to jump so close. A pause, so their commanders are broadcasting in clear channels. They're in complete chaos. Stone nodded. The Empire had expected traditional tactics ships appearing at safe distances, long-range battles, following standard galactic warfare doctrine. Instead, human ships had jumped right into their midst, using speed and surprise in ways the Empire had never seen. Federation forces, reporting in, another officer called out, they're engaging Empire forces in 3 other sectors. The Empire is trying to respond, but they're spreading thin on the main screen. Stone watched as Earth ships demonstrated another surprise. When Empire vessels finally began firing back, their shots passed right through several human ships. Holograms mixed in with real vessels, making it impossible to tell which targets were real. Message from James Miller on the Council station. His communications officer reported the corrupt Council members are trying to delete evidence of their weapons trading. Our cyber teams are already in their systems, copying everything. Stone allowed himself a small smile. The Empire wasn't just fighting ships, they were fighting human ingenuity. While their commanders looked for traditional fleet formations, Earth vessels attacked in seemingly random patterns that actually followed complex mathematical models. While they tried to track enemy positions, human ships used a mix of stealth tech and holographic decoys that confused their best sensors. His tactical officer called out, Empire reinforcements are arriving. 3 fleet groups trying to surround our forces. Spring the trap. Stone ordered. The Empire ships moved into position, thinking they had caught Earth's forces. Suddenly new jump points opened all around them. The second wave of human ships arrived, appearing at points the Empire had fought were impossible to use for jump travel. The Empire found themselves surrounded. Instead of being the ones doing the surrounding, all ships execute battle plan. Delta. Stone commanded, show them why you don't cornered humans. The battle that followed would be studied in military economies across the galaxy for decades to come. Human ships moved in ways that defied standard combat doctrine. They used tactics that mixed ancient Earth military strategies with advanced technology. When Empire ships tried to predict their movements, they found humans doing the opposite of what centuries of galactic military theory said they should do. Empire fleet is in full retreat, his tactical officer reported after an hour of intense combat. They've lost 60% of their supply base and 40% of their responding ships. The rest are jumping out of the system. Stone open a channel to all Earth forces. This is Admiral Stone. First strike successful. Move to Phase 2 targets. Remember, we're not here to conquer, we're here to stop a genocide and expose corruption. Fight hard, fight smart, but fight right. The response came back loud and clear for Earth and justice. In the Council chamber, Miller watched the reports come in. The corrupt Council members were pale as they saw their weapons trading Empire crumble. The Federation representatives were cheering as hope returned to their people. Message from Earth Command. Stone's communications officer reported all Phase 1 objectives achieved. Federation forces report Empire withdrawals from 3 contested systems. The President says to tell you keep pushing. Stone looked at the tactical display show in human ships, regrouping for their next attack. The Empire was about to learn another lesson about humanity. When humans decided to fight for what was right, they didn't stop until the job was done. 3 months after Earth joined the war, James Miller stood again at the Council chamber central platform. The room looked different now. Several Council members' seats were empty, their occupants facing trial for weapons trading. The Crest Empire section was much smaller. Their influence diminished after their surrender last week. The war is over, Miller announced, his voice carrying across the chamber. The Crest Empire has accepted peace terms. All conquered Federation worlds will be returned. All weapons of mass destruction will be destroyed. He looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes of various representatives. Some looked relieved, others embarrassed, and many showed newfound respect when they looked at Earth section, which was no longer tucked away in a corner. But ending the war isn't enough, Miller continued. This council failed. It failed to stop genocide. It failed to protect the innocent. Some of its members profited from the suffering of billions. Admiral Stone stood in the Earth section, his dress uniform showing the new medals he'd earned during the campaign. Next to him, Federation representatives nodded in agreement with Miller's words. Therefore, Earth proposes a new council charter, Miller said, bringing up the document on the chambers. Displays no more primitive status used to silence new voices, no more private weapons trading, no more watching genocide, and calling it neutrality. The new charter appeared on everyone's screens. It was simple, direct, and focused on action rather than endless debate, just like humanity's approach to the war had been. Some said humans were too young to understand galactic politics, Miller continued. But youth sees things. Age sometimes forgets. Youth remembers that power comes with responsibility. Youth still knows right from wrong. He gestured to the tactical display showing the state of known space. Earth ships are returning home. The Federation is rebuilding. The Empire is disarming. Now comes the hard part, making sure this never happens again. The voting began. Some council members looked unhappy, but none dared oppose the changes, not with Earth's proven military strength and moral authority backing the reforms. The new charter passed with an overwhelming majority. Later in his office, Miller looked out at the station's view of space. Reynolds joined him, carrying 2 cups of coffee. Hard to believe it's been only 3 months, Reynolds said, handing Miller a cup. The galaxy is completely different now. Miller nodded. The Empire's war machine is dismantled. The corrupt council members are facing justice. The Federation is free. He took a sip of coffee. And humanity has shown exactly what we can do when pushed too far. His computer chimed with a message from Earth. The hidden shipyards were being converted to public use, now serving as centers for technological cooperation between species. Earth's primitive status was officially removed, replacing with full council membership. They are calling it the Human Revolution. In some sectors, Reynolds mentioned, not because we conquered anyone, but because we showed them a different way. Direct action against evil technology, with moral purpose. Power used to protect, not profit. Miller smiled. And to think they thought they were keeping us safe by making us observers. They never understood humans don't do well just watching. We need to act to help to make things right. Through his window, he could see ships from various species docking at station. Federation vessels flew proudly again. Even a few Empire ships were there under the new peaceful government. And among them, all Earth ships moved with quiet confidence. Their presence, a reminder of humanity's emergence onto the galactic stage. The galaxies learned something important, Miller said. Being young doesn't mean being wrong. Being less advanced doesn't mean being less wise. He turned to Reynolds. And being human means never standing by when we can stand up. As the station's day cycle began again, Miller prepared for another council session. But this time, he wasn't walking in as an observer. He was walking in as the representative of a species that had proved itself not through age or technology, but through the oldest human traits of all: courage, justice, and the determination to do what was right.